Uh, I never expect that I had to dance here, but well, thank you for the introduction. Thank you everybody for the attention. I'm going to speak in English, and well, I'm going to try to do my best, and I will try that you can understand a little bit what we are trying to express here. Well, I am Fernando Camacho. I work in National Commission of Protected Areas on Mexico, and well, what we're trying to do is explain our framework and why we think that conservation is very important for disaster risk reduction. First, as always, I want to tell you that Mexico is a very diverse country, as you can see, and I hope that you are going to have an opportunity to see a little bit of Mexico. We have 182 protected areas. Last Monday, we decreed the last protected area. Our president, Ernesto Peña Nieto, decreed the last protected area. And well, as you know, Mexico has two different coasts, the Pacific and the Gulf of Mexico coast. And we, in the protected area, we have the same problems that outside of the protected areas. We have change in the weather patterns. We have extreme meteorological events, and of course we have to deal with that. No, we have to deal what is going to happen with the ecosystems and with the communities that live inside of the protected areas of Mexico. That is something that we want to share with you. Mexican protected areas are different from another one of the world because people live inside of the protected areas, and our institution work with the people to conserve. That is something very important, and is something that we see as a capital to reduce risk. No? We want to express, for example, one of the big examples of Mexico. Here in the conference, a lot of people talk about this huge hurricane, Patricia. Patricia formed in the last part of the season in 2015, and it was huge. No, it was a big hurricane, and we had the fortune that this hurricane hit in front of protected area. Last year, in the 2014, we had almost at the same month other hurricanes, and the consequence of these hurricanes were very different. No, in this case, the hurricane hit in a very conserved region with a group of protected areas. And of course, the loss of human life was less than the other one, and the economic cost of this hurricane was, of course, less. No, and this is something that we're trying to collect data to prove that conserve is important in disaster risk reduction. No, and is an hypothesis that is very logical. No, I don't know if what is happening when it starts raining. And if you are not wearing a special cloth, normally you are going to look for a tree or trying to protect yourself in a dense forest. No, well, I don't know what we are not doing that in terms of disaster risk reduction. Use the ecosystem and their natural infrastructure to reduce the potential impacts. No, so this figure show what is happening in Mexico. No, as you can see, and I guess that our colleagues from the government have already told you that we have two different phones, one after the disaster, and the other one that is before the disaster. No, and well, history. Well, in the past, we spend more money in the after the disaster, and the fund that have money for the prevention is not using so much. No, so there is a big opportunity trying to reduce the use of this after the disaster and trying to prevent and use ecosystem and natural infrastructure to reduce these impacts. No, so we trying to express that there is an opportunity to increase prevention using ecosystem and their services that provide in order to reduce the impacts of climate change. No? This is something very important, and this is our framework. As I already told you, We have more than 3 million people living inside the protected area. We have different kinds of protected areas, and these protected areas has different kind of management. No, my institution is trying to work with these people, trying to increase the wellness. No. Nivel de vida. Livelihood, yeah. To increase the livelihood of these people, and at the same moment to conserve the ecosystem and the biodiversity that are inside of the protected area. So this is normally what we do, but in this moment we are trying to express this idea in terms of climate change, trying to know what is going to happen with the people, what is going to happen with these activities, the economic activities that they are doing in the landscape, and trying to find answers, no? And other activities to help us to adapt not only the people, to adapt the ecosystems, and of course the institution where we work. No, that's why we have a strategy, and I was carrying like 2 or 3 kilos of this in my back, and if somebody wants to have this strategy, I can give you. I have it in there in my back. And well, this strategy is where we express all of our ideas, and is a route for this institution, trying to know what is going to happen. But it's not only what we are doing. We have invest in the landscape. We have subsidies. We work with the people with subsidies, and we are investing in 2016. $12 million working with the people in terms of climate change. No, there is some of our opportunities to adapt to adaptation, and we think that is an opportunity to disaster risk reduction too. Other thing that we are doing is increasing capacities with rural communities, and we are here working so much with another institutions, not only for the federal government. We are working with the international institutions. We're working so much with the UNDP, that is one of our best allies, and we are working with that, so trying to increase the community's capacities in terms of risk. No, and this is something that we want to share. We have a GEF project. We call it Resiliencia, and that way, like this. And Resiliencia project is trying to collect lessons about how we can manage protected areas in terms of climate change. No? And the idea is increase capacities in the institution, or capacities in the communities, and of course having example of what can we do to help ecosystems to adapt, no? In terms of this change in the climate. And something that is very important, and we find in the road, was that disaster risk reduction is very important, and it's another tool for the institution and for the government to express and to have these ideas in the field, right? So we are trying with this project to create lessons and to share with us, no? And we think that what we were trying to have this talk here in the global platform, to say to another sectors and to other actors that conservation, ecosystem conservation in every sense, not only in protected areas, in another sense, is very good, and is have to be taken account in this Sendai framework, no? And well, this is something that we do in the communities. This is when you arrive to protected areas, and again, I invite you to go and visit them. We have here and in the north and in the south. When you arrive at protected area, you're going to find this kind of signs. And this is something is to express information to the people in there, and that to share that having a protected area is going to help them in terms of adaptation and mitigation, no? And well, I guess that I am finished my time, and I have 3 minutes, and I'm going to use these 3 minutes if somebody has some questions, and maybe we can start having this talk about the ideas that we're trying to share. No, my name is Fernando Camacho. I work, as I said, in National Commission on Protected Areas, and I'm here to to having this talk. No, thank you very much. Is there any question or comments, or maybe in another country that you are having the same ideas and trying to incorporate in the disaster risk reduction framework, the ecosystem conservation? No? Yeah.
Can I just ask you about the biggest barriers you're finding to really promoting protected areas as an ecosystem based on your approach, and how are you overcoming them?
Well, I guess that the first barrier, and I can say that it's an opportunity, is to create capability in our team. No, that's why we are going to the experts, and that's why we have a strong collaboration with UNDP to work with our team and having the tools to go after with the communities. No, I think that is the first opportunity. The other one is to increase the investment in terms of disaster risk reduction. And the third part, and it's something that we've been here so much here, is trying to came together with the private sector. No, by example here, that another sectors that are having activities in the landscape incorporate these ideas of conservation and natural solutions in their infrastructures. No? Yeah. Another one. Well.
How can you? Yeah, thank you. It's definitely so important, the natural protected areas contribution, but also in Mexico, near the natural protected areas, there's huge investments, enormous cities and this and that. How are you tackling with this landscape approach, el enfoque de paisajes, to reduce risk out of the natural protected areas? Can you tell us?
Yeah, that is something that we are putting so much attention because I don't know if you know, but we only can work inside of the polygon of the protected area. So that's why we need to establish this alliance with another sectors and trying to reduce the pressure, because normally when you decrease a protected area, of course you are going to still having pressure inside and you are working in reduce these pressures, but the big pressure is outside, no, with another sectors and another actors, and that's something that we are doing, and this framework is going to help us because sometimes these sectors are putting more attention in disaster risk reduction than in conservation. Yeah.